Welcome to the Empower Her Entrepreneur podcast with Janice Boudreau, the ultimate destination for fearless women business owners ready to conquer their next level of success. Get ready to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit as we dive deep into all things related to building your empire, setting ambitious goals, and scaling your business to new heights. This podcast is your go-to resource for empowerment and encouragement. Tune in every week as we inspire, motivate, and empower you to embrace your full potential as a woman entrepreneur.
Hi, everybody. It's another podcast with Empower Her Entrepreneur. And this week, we are delighted to have Heidi with us. We are going to be talking about pursuing excellence through hard work, training, and mentorship. So without further ado, I'd like you to be introduced to Heidi Moniz, who is the owner, operator, and CEO of Aldershot Foot Clinic in Burlington.
Yes. Yeah, in Burlington, Ontario. Thanks for having me, Janice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you're one of the first people that I thought of. Me and Heidi have quite the long-standing relationship of working together through everything from mentorship, colleagues, friends, tears, lots of different things that go on in this crazy footcare world, that's for sure. But we've been able to lean on each other. So Heidi, take it off. Tell us a little bit about kind of a brief history of your journey and whatnot.
Yeah. So I'm an RPN, and I started doing foot care probably about 21 years ago now, and was a traditional nurse and did foot care part-time and nursing part-time. Started off with contracts, nursing homes, that sort of thing, and was always mobile. And then in 2020, I opened my bricks and mortar in Burlington, and the real journey began. Relied on.
I remember
Pardon?
that. I remember you were trying to find the clinic back then.
I know.
Those choices.
That's when a lot of colleagues like yourself are very helpful, and you have a lot of questions, and it was definitely a learning curve, right? So the business side was very new to me, in that respect. So yeah, it took some time, but I feel 4 years later, I'm getting there.
You're extremely successful in what you do.
Thank you.
Obviously, with her, she compounds a lot of excellence in what you do, Heidi. Like if you look at what you built, which I remember you were mobile and then you chose to expand. You did it so delicately and carefully. I remember you hiring the first person, the second person,
Yeah.
and now you have an office staff. But you also did some really awesome things in your clinic that were a lot of hard work.
Right. Yeah. So starting off, it was just myself. So it was in the clinic. So, it's timing, strategizing, learning, when to hire, when to move forward with things, when to expand, and, adding different practitioners, and going through, the hiring process of different nurses. And so it was all challenging, but I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so, like I said, just learning curves and learning how to be kind of confident in your ability, and just, doing the best I can.
The thing is, and the learning curve is always changing.
Yes.
Because I think we can definitely attune to the fact that we've had many conversations over the last 6 years that the struggle or the hurdle is always changing. And so
Yes.
that line of what we're talking about is also always changing. And as we've been going along, we perfect it and we move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And just going through these hurdles, it's just a part of the journey, but just learning confidence in yourself and your ability, and then being able to, mentor other nurses, and having, oh, I screwed up. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll edit that.
Can you go through that again?
Start from here. You know what it is? So I'm going to put the hard work behind the curtains. So we already
Okay.
know you're a successful entrepreneur, but we know that it took hard work to get there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's challenges and hurdles that are faced in early stages of the careers. But what strategies did you use to stay motivated, overcome? What kind of things? Like we're talking hard work, training, and mentorship. Also
Mm-hmm.
looked at what got that hard work. What do you think over the years was some of the things that propelled you forward the most? When maybe you were in that stuck moment, or maybe you weren't stuck, but you were like in a Yahoo and, got three contracts at once. And what
Mm-hmm.
were some of the things behind the curtains that really helped you?
So first, I know I wouldn't be where I am today without, the kindness of others and colleagues and business owners, um, being able to ask questions, and and just building a community within the people I know. I think that was, really, really important. I think the struggles that you go through are just lessons, and there's always going to be another lesson. There's always going to be struggles in business, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
just how you, handle it. And I think when you first start out, sometimes you do take it personally or it's emotional, and you learn as you go how to, um, be more successful in business and present yourself better, and being, acknowledge, your strengths and weaknesses and what you have to work on.
I can agree with that because I know even myself, there were many phone calls that I may have even sent you a text first that said 911.
I think we've both done that to each other.
Early 911. Yeah, that, you know what? I know you've seen me too, where I'm like, literally, I'm like, Heidi, can you call me? I'm like laying on my bed. I can't even think.
Yeah,
I think a lot of even for me, you know what? It's the lessons come back and back. I know
yeah,
you, for me, I learned quite a few when dealing with hiring others and staff members and building that up. But yeah, knowing that we had that to bounce off each other. I mean, that's been a while now. Actually, our problems are getting a lot less and a lot less smaller. Do you notice that?
hey, I agree with you. We haven't had to make the calls as much. We
Yes,
went
we
through a period of
did.
time where it was quite frequent.
It was quite freaking. We really relied on each other. So the nice thing with me and Heidi is that we essentially mentored each other because when one person was, doing great in one area, whether it be maybe it's accounting, computers, programs. How many times, like I'm like, what are you using for your payment processor? But
Right.
then she might get a hold of me and say, well, what policy or form did you use, and how would you go about this? I mean, those were some of the best moments to be able to rely on somebody. And the nice thing is, the reason I think we chose each other is because we pursue excellence. We have
Yes,
extremely
absolutely.
gold standards, um,
Yes.
and most of our career has been trying to help others. And it's
Yes.
always about finding not just the okay way, but the best way.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
we bounce it off, and you're like, and I know sometimes I've said stuff to you, and you're like, no, no. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I have a good idea and whatnot. Yeah, these were good. So
Yeah.
over what you did though, so training, so we talked about hard work, but training for yourself. What do you think the building blocks were though of your expertise in regards to making sure like the importance of continuous learning and kind of upskilling in the foot care industry? What did you
Well, for myself, it was just, if, when we took foot care course, it was pretty,
dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much more out there. So, essentially we were teaching ourselves a lot of things. And
We
and
sure were.
so yeah. So I think just being able, and I think that that helped in a lot of ways because we had to learn and apply our knowledge the best way we could with, I lots of things. I read books, I talked to other colleagues, I listened to podcasts, I do lots of things to better myself. Things I didn't know, I'd look up and make sure that I was doing correctly. I didn't feel like there was a lot of guidance out there until I met, you and some other people that I was able to really like bounce ideas off of. And I think that's why it's so important now with especially what you're doing with the community with the footcare nurses. It's so
Yeah,
amazing to be able to ask questions, and that's what we didn't have and before years ago.
we did
And
it.
just being able to, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing foot care, we all come across things that we don't, we're not sure about or unaware of. And just being able to, don't be shy, just speak your mind, ask questions. And we all learn from that, right?
I think too, like you mentioned about the community, that's definitely something I'm trying to do now, but and I call it the Footmasters Hub because while I knew there were other forums, remember those forums back in the day,
Yes.
there was just sometimes you have to watch like what level you're trying to reach to the top and pursue that excellence and who you're getting your information from. I
Absolutely.
just found in a lot of other ways, and that's why I know you're on it. We're trying to mediate almost like what's brought in there, that it's so top end, because I mean, it was almost like I don't know, what do you call it, National Enquirer when I was watching those some of the forums from before. Such
Yeah.
disinformation, or so many almost scared foot nurses out there who didn't want to propel themselves to do all
Hmm.
the things they could be doing, whether they're an RN, RPN, and now they're a foot care nurse. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad I moved outside of those, and I
Yeah.
just, yeah, like I remember finding you, and I would say I have about four people that I closely unite with
Yeah.
because it's just, I don't know, it's a different level, that's for sure.
It
And
is.
it is, it's the quality and the quantity and the thinking on it. And what do you think of this? You know that when it's me and you or some of our other colleagues that we utilize, it's deep and thoughtful about what we're coming up
Absolutely.
with. It's
Yeah.
not misinformation, I guess you'd say, or
Yeah. And
misinformation.
and just encouraging each other and learning from each other, our successes and things that we would change. We go through them at different times, and it's just good to learn from each other. I was just thinking back at like IPAC standards and like all these things that we taught ourselves, we learned from. And it's so wonderful that there's so much more information and guidance now, but all those things we did ourselves and learned.
It is. It's definitely better now. I definitely do still see some programs that are out there that are probably not the best.
Yeah.
And and I can see the need because then people like me and you who offer mentorship are very full and very busy with people who
Yeah.
have just so many questions. And these aren't
Yeah.
just business questions, these are clinical questions, these are
Yeah.
care and treatment questions.
Yeah.
So we know that there are programs that out there. So that's why I should mention Heidi teaches the foot care course for the Burlington, kind of Toronto area, as people will come in and take it. And she also offers mentorship
Mhm.
outside to her students or anybody out. If there's a listener out there, especially if you want to have my colleague here from the big city mentor you, she's also
That's true.
available.
Yeah.
Um, like I said,
Yeah.
we do run it programs. I'm not sure, Heidi, if you're doing like just Zoom calls, or I think you have it. They can come visit your clinic too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, mentorship in the
From what I'm
clinic.
saying.
Yeah, we do, 3-day mentorship, and then they're able to see one-on-one what we do, techniques, our autoclaving process, IPAC standards, all those things. So yeah, it's beneficial for sure. And
Because how many times you have that student in there, they're like, you can just see by the size of their eyeballs that they've
I
never
know,
seen it. They don't even know what that tool is. They don't, they're
I
like, you
know.
have to do what? Put this in.
It's
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's overwhelming at first. Yeah,
It is, but they've
absolutely.
taken another program or they've now come to you, getting that secondary. We're getting that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but that's good. It's like you're passing the torch on to others and
Yeah,
giving them
absolutely. And
that
the
info.
same thing, I wouldn't have been able, and we were all new at one point, right? So
Yep.
just I'm so thankful for the people that have helped me along the way, and I love being able to help others. And even I did some teaching in the past, and I've have those nurses now that work for me and are wonderful,
Mm,
and just being able to pass on that all the knowledge that we've learned over the last 20 years.
I
So,
think so, and we're definitely still learning. I
yep,
mean, I can be quite honest.
100%.
I think I called you like a week ago or two. The first question was, "Do you want to do a podcast?" And the second was, "Who are you using for this? And what are you doing for that?" You know what
I
it
know.
is? There's
Always,
always scheme in the
always
way.
questions
There's
when we
always
think,
questions.
I know.
But you know what?
Well, I'm a few years behind you. So I kind of, I'm building my business and I have more nurses. And so with that, there's different policies and different things that need to be in place. And so it's been wonderful to be able to talk to you about it because, you're a few years ahead of me and have gone through all this, right? So,
Yeah, I've definitely been through some interesting stuff. And I told you, me and Heidi kind of talked before the podcast, and I was letting her know I've had colleagues getting a hold of me. And that's what it is they can sense that maybe you've been through it before.
right.
Such as a client who is disgruntled, unhappy, coming
Hmm.
after you. How do you handle it? How do you handle it with staff? I had another colleague, having issues with keeping her first office staff and transitioning to having her, forever person, whatever that means. Um,
Hmm.
but things have definitely progressed. I think it is so much hard work, though. It's so interesting, our relationship, because we've seen each other propel. We've tried to build different things together, things separately. We
Yeah.
always seem to come back, but my God, we're the hardest working. We sleep, breathe, and eat. Like, what
I
can't
know. Well, I think we're just so entrepreneurial. We have so many ideas, and that's what was difficult for me when I had to transition from being the nurse that did all the foot care to hiring nurses because I just wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do. And I just had all these wonderful ideas I couldn't implement. And that's where I really want to excel at this point.
Yeah, that's where
So,
you are in your journey. That's
yeah, yeah,
where you are right now. You're
yeah. So,
exploding. So
So it's just that challenge of balancing, hiring people, taking over some work, getting more in the owner role, getting other things implemented, and yeah, it's exciting and it's a new role, right? So yeah,
it's
it's
fun. It's a whole new
it's
season of your life. I can't wait to hear the
it's
stuff
where
that's
I want to
going to
get
come
to,
out of
but
it.
it takes time, it takes a lot of time and
Well, we're
not
drinking wine a lot less because remember how much wine we used to drink back in the day?
Yes.
I think we both gave it
Oh,
up, actually. I don't think neither of us were going to drink
I know.
anymore.
It was
So
stressful times.
it is. And I think people don't realize that even us, I would definitely say we're both been very successful at what we do in our industry. But
Yeah,
it was not without, like, yeah, the hard work, the training, the mentorship, but wait for it. The anxiety, the fear, the panic,
yeah,
the tears,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes I know I was just like ready to quit. I can even think of one, I just thought of it with you,
Yeah.
where I think you were almost going to walk away from clinic
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. So see, everyone, it is like nobody is on that straight path. You just rethink it, pivot, do something different. And I just want to mention Heidi now has a clinic that has many modalities, including
Hmm.
podorthist, a chiropodist. What else?
Yeah, reflexology.
Reflexology.
Yeah.
So in that very moment that the clinic could have went one way, she just chose to, well, build a whole empire on in another
I
direction.
know. I
And you
know.
did. You did.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sometimes you just, it's hard to handle things and yes, sometimes you think hey, I'm just going to grab my bag and do myself and not deal with any of this, but that's not that's not what I want to do. And it took me, a couple days calling Janice
I remember that. Don't
to
worry, I've had
yeah.
some good calls to you. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's it. I just want my bag back in my trunk. Everybody's fired.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
don't
just
want to
gonna
do
do it
this
myself.
anymore.
Yeah.
But if you can
But it's
do
in
that,
us, right? Just yeah, it just takes some time. I mean, we're always,
we
owning
went
your
through
own business.
COVID together.
Oh
COVID,
yeah.
fantastic.
I opened my business through 3 days before lockdown.
You did, and I knew that's why you had a bit more with the clinic, that you
Yeah.
just needed to hold on,
Yep.
but that you had got through everything,
Yeah.
and you continue to excel because I know you're like me. We watch everything new and upcoming. We
Yeah.
see new treatments that are coming out, and we're the first people. I know yourself. I'm always on the phone with Kathy, Natalie,
Yeah.
different people. Saying, "Hey, do you have it in your clinic? How's it working? What's your pay or price for doing it?" It's
Yes,
been really nice
absolutely.
to have that community
It
um,
is. Yeah.
of us. So that's kind of what I definitely tried to create and hoping to
Yes.
do more. And that way, all the people who are also teaching the program have options to mentor, which you are, and do
Yeah.
a lot of different things. It's just been one
Yeah,
heck of a
absolutely.
journey, I know.
I know it's been crazy, but it's been good. It's been good. Owning your own business, it's tough, but you learn how to handle it and how to react to things.
Mhm.
And I mean, that depends on the outcome, right? Just how we're able to handle situations. And I think it just comes with time.
Mhm.
Just to be, I feel a lot less stressed than I used to.
I just
But
see so many people, yeah, jumping. So obviously, me and Heidi both teach, so we do see a lot where people are just like, you go from 0 to 100, and these nurses are such in a hurry to start their businesses too.
yeah,
That the one advice I would give is to step it back a bit. Um, Go through the different things that you would need, make lists, get training, do the mentorship, slow down, think it thoroughly. It's not a race, right? Right to the top.
no, and growth takes time, and you got to put in the work and do the best you can. It will come. Um, like you said, with excellence, it just you just have to do the best you can with the knowledge you have. It will come, and it's learning, right? It's the learning the social media aspect and all different how
I love
to
your
build a
social media.
business.
I do. I
Pardon?
love social media. I have to tell you that. I see some not so great ones out there, but but
Yeah.
I definitely know I love yours, and
Well,
I think
thank you.
we both did ours ourselves in the beginning, which
Yep.
people shouldn't be afraid of, and I think that's a huge learning. And then now, if I'm correct, like I think both of us have people doing it for us.
I did. I'm doing it again myself right now. I
Ah,
actually
cool.
enjoy it. I'll sit down on a Sunday and do, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out and do it. And, after 4 years of doing it, I kind of take things from what I used to have and redo them and do
Recycle
them
them.
differently.
So the awesome thing about me and your Heidi, and she is correct in saying like I'm just a few years ahead of her. So what if I
Hmm.
told you that's what I was doing 3 years ago? So I was down
Yep.
to 2 days only doing care, and that one
Yep.
of the transitions I made out to be, just an owner and kind of overseeing, I took on all the social media. And after
Yep.
I had a couple years, I just recycled.
Yeah.
I was able to say
Recycling. Yep.
what was the post and bring it forward. And you start to do other stuff. But I think that's a big cost save to a lot of these new
Oh,
fitness.
absolutely.
If
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
really think about overhead, if they could really think about all of that. But we've had each other, and that's kind of why I brought you on here. So I'm hoping
Yeah,
that others
absolutely.
can find their people too to, get those crazy 6 a.m. 911 calls, to get the the text, the email,
Absolutely.
but the
Yeah.
sharing. Me and Heidi have shared everything with each other. That's another
Yes.
thing. Is because if you can find good collaboration in a community, there's a lot less um, having to do things twice. I remember getting, I think, a consent from Heidi, and then, well, I like right
Mhm.
now, I have a form that could be beneficial in her business. I think those are the
Absolutely.
things to be able to hook up and do. So
Yes.
we did good. This was a great podcast. Is there anything, any key points, or is there any encouraging words? Is there anything, Heidi, that you want to say, just to leave with? Knowing that there's possibly just business women, even in general, women entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
listening to this, that may only want to be just themselves working. Maybe they want to have a company. Maybe they only want to have two people working for them. But what would you want to say as a takeaway? And
Yeah, I just think as a foot care nurse, there's so many people to see, so many feet to see. I think nurses need to work together to empower each other and be each other's cheerleaders. Be the best nurse you can by educating yourself, kind of learn from your mistakes. I really find getting involved in the community, like I'm in on the BIA board, Chamber of Commerce. It's a great way to meet people, like-minded people, business owners, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, it can be stressful, but there's people out there like us that are willing to help and willing to mentor and be able to give advice. Obviously, Janice, your community online's been wonderful. And I hope that we can all, work together to provide the best folk care and help our community.
that is that is what it's all about. I
It
want to
is.
say thank you, Heidi, for being
Thank you.
a great friend, colleague. We mentor each other. She's been somebody
Yes.
with me a long time, so it's been very good. And hopefully that the entrepreneurs out there can take a listen to this and know that these are two successful business women who,
Hmm.
you can hear us laugh, you can hear us how we live through this, and you take something from it. So thank you everyone
Absolutely.
for joining, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Janice. I appreciate it. Thank you.